The world's easiest fast is not about starving yourself for days. It's about letting your body finally do what it was designed to do. For years, we've been told that the only way to lose stubborn fat is through restrictive diets, endless workouts, or expensive supplements. But here's the truth. There's a hidden kind of fat inside your body that no amount of crunches or treadmill runs will touch. It's called visceral fat, and it acts like a toxic backpack you've been carrying around without even realizing it. This fat doesn't just sit under the skin where you can pinch it. It hides deep inside, wrapping around your organs, squeezing them, spiking inflammation, and setting you up for heart disease, diabetes, brain fog, and fatigue. Now, here's the surprising part. You don't need extreme measures to burn this fat. You don't need complicated schedules or fancy programs. All it takes is a simple 14-day fasting approach that gently flips your body's fat-burning switch. Imagine waking up with more energy, clearer focus, and a lighter waistline, not from suffering, but from giving your body the break it's been waiting for. What if just 14 days could transform the way your metabolism works? What if the solution has been inside of you all along, waiting for you to tap into it? In the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly how this easy fast works, why it specifically targets visceral fat, and how you can start applying it tomorrow without confusion or struggle. When most people think about losing fat, they immediately picture the belly they see in the mirror, the love handles that poke out of their shirt, or the thighs they wish were leaner. But here's the truth, the most dangerous fat isn't the one you see on the outside. It's the fat hiding deep inside, pressing against your vital organs. This is called visceral fat. Think of it like this. If subcutaneous fat, the one under your skin, is like a soft pillow, visceral fat is like bubble wrap suffocating your organs. On the outside, bubble wrap looks harmless, right? But imagine wrapping your lungs, liver, heart, and pancreas with layers of thick plastic. Instead of protecting, it chokes. That's what visceral fat does. It doesn't just sit there quietly. It's metabolically active, pumping out inflammatory chemicals, hormones, and toxins into your bloodstream all day long. This is why doctors call visceral fat a hidden enemy. You may not even realize you're carrying it. Some people look slim, yet they have fatty liver disease because visceral fat has been building silently around their liver for years. Others work out every day, but because they constantly snack or eat processed foods, their insulin stays high and visceral fat never leaves. That's why you can't always judge health by looking in the mirror, because the real threat is beneath the surface. Now, let's break down what makes this hidden fat so dangerous. First, visceral fat disrupts hormones. It releases something called cytokines, which sound harmless, but these are inflammatory messengers. They travel through your bloodstream, inflaming your arteries, raising blood pressure, and making it harder for your cells to use insulin. Over time, this creates insulin resistance, the first step toward prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. Second, visceral fat squeezes and suffocates organs. Your liver, for example, is designed to detoxify your body and manage your metabolism. But if it's packed with fat, it can't do its job effectively. Your pancreas, the organ that regulates blood sugar, becomes overwhelmed. Even your heart is put under strain because visceral fat pushes against it, raising cardiovascular risk. Third, visceral fat doesn't just sit in one spot. It behaves like a toxin factory. It floods your system with free fatty acids that travel to muscles and other tissues, creating more fat storage in places it doesn't belong. This is why people with high visceral fat often feel constant fatigue, brain fog, and stubborn belly weight that won't go away no matter how much they exercise. Here's the most shocking part. You don't need to be overweight to have dangerous visceral fat. Ever seen someone who looks thin but has a round belly? Or maybe you've heard the term skinny fat. That's visceral fat at work, and it's more dangerous than the visible fat you're so worried about. Now, the good news, your body is incredibly intelligent. It knows how to get rid of this toxic fat if you give it the right conditions. And that's where fasting comes in. When you eat all the time, even small snacks, your insulin levels stay elevated. Insulin is a fat storage hormone. The more it's circulating, the more your body is told store fat, don't burn it. But when you fast, even for short periods, insulin drops. And when insulin drops, your body flips a metabolic switch from storing to burning. And here's the beautiful part. Your body doesn't randomly burn fat. It goes after the most metabolically active fat first, which is visceral fat. Why? Because visceral fat is constantly releasing toxins, constantly demanding energy. Your body sees it as a problem. So when you finally give your metabolism a chance to heal through fasting, it prioritizes burning visceral fat. This is why I call fasting nature's reset button. You don't have to starve yourself for days. You don't have to punish yourself in the gym for hours. You simply create space between your meals, allow insulin to lower, and your body begins repairing itself. Think about it. Our ancestors didn't eat 6 times a day. They didn't carry protein bars or snacks. They had natural periods of fasting, sometimes 12, 16, or even 20 hours because food wasn't always available. And guess what? They didn't have epidemics of fatty liver disease or diabetes. Their bodies thrived on fasting. So when I say the world's easiest fast can reduce visceral fat in 14 days, I mean it. This isn't about starving. It's about restoring. It's about giving your body the time it needs to tap into fat stores it was designed to burn. And here's the question you should ask yourself. If visceral fat is silently suffocating your organs right now, why wait until it turns into diabetes, fatty liver, or heart disease? Why not give your body the natural tool it's been waiting for? Fasting. Because once you start, the changes don't just happen on the scale. They happen in your energy, in your clarity, in your focus, and in your health. This is the hidden enemy most people ignore, but it's also the first fat your body wants to burn when you do the world's easiest fast. Most people hear the word fasting and immediately think of long, grueling stretches without food, the kind where you feel drained, irritable, and ready to quit. That's one of the biggest myths about fasting. It doesn't need to be extreme to be effective. In fact, shorter, daily fasts often deliver better results than those exhausting marathon fasts that burn people out. Think of it like charging your phone. You wouldn't drain your battery completely and then wait a whole week to charge it back up. You top it off daily, keeping it running smoothly. Short, consistent fasts do the same for your metabolism. When you fast for 12 to 16 hours, powerful things start happening inside your body. Insulin begins to drop, and that's the moment your body gets the signal to switch from storing fat to burning it. Growth hormone and norepinephrine, the fat-burning hormones, start to rise, preserving lean muscle while signaling your cells to tap into energy reserves. You don't need days of starvation to activate these processes. Just a small window of fasting each day is enough to set your fat-burning engine in motion. What makes shorter fasts even more powerful is sustainability. Anyone can white-knuckle their way through one long fast, but the real secret to changing your body is consistency. One marathon doesn't get you fit. It's the daily training that builds strength. The same applies here. Fasting for 14 to 16 hours a day is like stacking small wins, one on top of the other, until your metabolism adapts. Over 14 days, that rhythm compounds and the results become undeniable. Short fasts also protect your energy. Long fasts often leave people feeling tired, lightheaded, and mentally drained. But when you fast in smaller windows, your body adjusts without the stress. Instead of crashing, you notice improved energy, sharper focus, and fewer cravings. That's because insulin stability is the key. Every time you eat, especially if you snack all day, insulin spikes, and that roller coaster leads to hunger swings and fatigue. By spacing out meals and allowing insulin to stay low, your body begins to thrive. Science shows that at around 12 to 16 hours of fasting, fat burning ramps up. Push a little further to 18 or 20 hours, and autophagy begins, a process where your body cleans out old, damaged cells and regenerates new, healthier ones. But here's the best part. You don't need to hit those longer fasts every day to reap the benefits. Even sticking to 14 to 16 hours most is enough to start shrinking visceral fat, boosting energy, and balancing hormones. If you occasionally extend your fast, you just give your body an extra push, but the daily rhythm is what really matters. Imagine how freeing this is. You don't need to obsess over counting calories, spend hours meal prepping, or carry snacks everywhere you go. You simply eat dinner, stop eating for the night, go to bed, wake up, and wait a few hours before your first meal. Without even realizing it, you've completed a 14-hour fast. It's flexible, it's forgiving, and it fits into real life. Miss a day. That's fine. Just pick it back up the next day. Unlike strict diets, short fasts don't punish you, they meet you where you are. This is why short, easy fasts are the real secret. They don't just change your body, they change your relationship with food. You stop chasing cravings because your hunger hormones start working with you, not against you. You stop worrying about willpower because fasting lowers the constant urge to snack. And you begin to experience freedom, freedom from dieting rules, freedom from food obsession, and freedom from the toxic cycle of storing fat every time you eat. It's not about one extreme fast that proves how tough you are. It's about building a rhythm your body can trust day after day. And once you experience the clarity, the energy, and the effortless fat burning that comes with short, consistent fasts, you'll never look at long, punishing fasts the same way again. The beauty of the world's easiest fast is that it doesn't require you to overhaul your entire life in one day. You don't have to jump straight into 18 hours of fasting or feel miserable trying to keep up with something unsustainable. Instead, you give your body time to adapt step by step, over the course of just 2 weeks. Think of it like training your metabolism the same way you'd train a muscle. You don't start by lifting the heaviest weight in the gym. You start lighter and build strength gradually. For the first 3 days, all you need to do is fast for 12 hours and eat during the next 12. That means if you finish dinner at 7 p.m., you don't eat again until 7 a.m. It's simple, it's gentle, and most of that time you're asleep anyway. This step helps your body ease into the process without stress, and it starts lowering insulin levels just enough to prepare your metabolism for deeper fat burning. Many people realize they've already been close to a 12-hour fast without even knowing it. Now you're just doing it intentionally. From days 4 through 7, you push that window slightly further to 14 or even 16 hours of fasting, leaving an 8-10 hour eating window. This is where the real magic begins. At around 14 hours, your insulin drops enough to unlock fat burning and cravings start to calm down. If you finish dinner at 7 p.m., now you simply wait until 9, 10, or 11 a.m. for your first meal. That's already a 14, 16-hour fast without struggle. You'll notice your body adjusting, and surprisingly, your hunger will be less intense than before. This happens because your insulin sensitivity improves, which means your hunger hormones are finally balancing instead of constantly demanding food. Then comes the second week, days 8 through 14, where you aim for 16 to 18 hours of fasting with metabolic flexibility. Flexibility is the key word here. You don't need to hit 18 hours every single day. Some days, 16 hours will be perfect, and on other days, if you feel good, you can stretch it to 18. The point is consistency, not perfection. At this stage, your body has already begun adapting to fasting, and it's starting to pull more energy from visceral fat stores. That's why this window is the sweet spot for burning the fat you can't see, the toxic fat wrapped around your organs. Of course, fasting isn't just about not eating. It's also about how you support your body during the fast. Hydration is essential. Drink plenty of water to keep your cells functioning and to help flush out toxins that get released as fat burns. Adding electrolytes, like a pinch of sea salt in your water, can help maintain balance, especially in the beginning when your body is adjusting. Black coffee and green tea are also powerful tools during fasting hours. They not only help suppress appetite, but they also enhance fat burning by stimulating metabolism. Just remember to keep them clean, no sugar, no cream, nothing that spikes insulin. What surprises most people is how hunger naturally fades as fasting gets easier. In the beginning, you may think about food often, but within a few days, your body learns to tap into its fat stores for energy. Instead of crashing, you start to feel more alert, your energy becomes steadier, and the brain fog begins to lift. This is your metabolism adapting, and every day you fast, it gets stronger and more flexible. This entire blueprint isn't about suffering or deprivation. It's about returning to the rhythm your body was designed for. Our ancestors didn't have 24/7 access to refrigerators and pantries. They had natural fasting periods built into their lifestyle. Sometimes they went half a day, sometimes even longer between meals. Their bodies were resilient because fasting was normal, not the exception. By following this 2-week blueprint, you're not forcing your body into something unnatural. You're aligning with how it's meant to function. Think of it as teaching your metabolism a new language. In the first 3 days, you're learning the basic words. In the next 4 days, you're starting to form sentences. And by the second week, you're fluent enough to have full conversations with your metabolism. Each stage builds on the last, and before you know it, you've given your body the opportunity to burn fat, heal, and reset, all by simply creating space between meals. Fasting gets all the attention, but here's the truth. What you eat during your eating window is just as important as the fast itself. You can't out-fast a poor diet. If you break your fast with the wrong foods, you can undo hours of fat burning in just a few bites. Think of fasting as clearing out the trash, sweeping your metabolism clean, and priming your body to heal. Now, imagine pouring garbage right back in the moment you open your eating window. That's what happens when people break a fast with sugar, processed carbs, or junk food. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire you're trying to put out. The key is to focus on real nutrient-dense foods. When you break your fast, your body is in a heightened state of sensitivity. Insulin is low, your cells are more receptive. And whatever you feed it will have a greater impact than at any other time of day. This is why it's crucial to prioritize protein, healthy fats, and fiber-rich vegetables. Protein helps preserve muscle, fuels repair, and keeps you satiated. Healthy fats, like those from avocados, nuts, olive oil, or wild-caught salmon, support hormones and provide steady energy without spiking insulin. Fiber from leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, and low-carb plants feeds your gut microbiome and keeps digestion moving smoothly. What you want to avoid are refined carbohydrates and sugars, especially when breaking a fast. When you eat carbs alone after fasting, your insulin spikes sharply. This doesn't just kick you out of fat burning mode. It tells your body to immediately store fat. That's the opposite of what you want after putting in hours of fasting work. Carbs aren't the enemy, but they need to be paired with protein and fat to slow down the release of glucose into your bloodstream. That way, you stay in control of your metabolism rather than handing the keys back to insulin. Let's put this into practical examples. Imagine you finish your 16th hour fast at 11 a.m. You could break it with a plate of wild salmon, sauteed spinach, and olive oil drizzled on top. That combination gives you protein, omega-3 fats, and fiber, everything your body needs to stabilize blood sugar and stay in fat-burning mode. Or maybe you prefer a breakfast-style meal. Scrambled eggs cooked in grass-fed butter, half an avocado, and a side of cucumbers or leafy greens is another perfect option. If you're on the go, a handful of raw nuts with hard boiled eggs and a few slices of cucumber works just as well. Notice what these meals have in common. They're simple, whole foods that give your body the right signals. Food is not just calories, it's information. Every bite you take tells your body what to do next. A meal full of sugar and refined carbs says, store fat, spike cravings, and crash energy. A nutrient-dense meal with protein, fat, and fiber says, burn fat, stabilize energy, and repair cells. That's the power of choosing wisely during your eating window. Another mistake people make is thinking they need to overeat when the fast is over. The truth is, fasting naturally lowers your hunger hormones. When you break your fast with balanced meals, you'll often notice you don't need as much food as before. This is a gift. Your body is learning how to eat until satisfied rather than stuffed. By listening to these signals, you build metabolic flexibility, meaning your body can switch easily between using food and stored fat for energy. You can also use your eating window to nourish recovery and longevity. Add in colorful, non-starchy vegetables for antioxidants, herbs and spices for anti-inflammatory benefits, and high-quality proteins to rebuild lean tissue. Grass-fed beef, pasture, raised eggs, wild salmon, sardines, nuts, seeds, avocados, and greens should become your go-to staples. If you include carbs, keep them smart and strategic, like a small serving of berries, sweet potato, or quinoa paired with protein and fat, not eaten alone. This approach makes fasting sustainable and powerful. You're not just skipping meals and hoping for the best. You're using your eating window as an opportunity to fuel your body with precision. When you get this right, you feel steady energy instead of spikes and crashes, cravings disappear, and fat loss becomes effortless because you're no longer fighting against your own biology. Your eating window isn't a free-for-all. It's the part of the fast where you close the loop, telling your body that you're not just burning fat, but also building health from the inside out. One of the biggest obstacles people face when fasting isn't the fasting itself, but the mistakes they make without even realizing it. A common one is snacking during the fasting window. It may seem harmless to grab a handful of nuts late at night or sip on a latte with extra cream in the morning, but the body isn't fooled. Even small amounts of calories break the fast and shut down the fat burning process. Think of fasting like a light switch. It's either on or off. The moment food enters, the switch flips off, and the benefits pause. The good news is that with awareness, this is one of the easiest mistakes to correct. Simply reminding yourself that fasting is about giving the digestive system true rest makes it easier to stay consistent. Another common error is breaking the fast with sugar or refined carbs. After hours without food, your body is especially sensitive to what you give it first. A sweet muffin or a glass of juice might feel comforting, but it spikes insulin quickly and can undo hours of progress. It's like spending all day cleaning your house, then dumping a bag of dirt right at the front door. Instead, leading with protein, healthy fats, and fiber stabilizes blood sugar and keeps fat burning active. A plate of eggs with avocado or salmon with greens will support your metabolism instead of fighting against it. Overeating during the eating window is another hidden trap. Many people think fasting gives them a free pass to eat whatever they want. But the body still counts calories and nutrients. Eating beyond fullness doesn't just slow fat loss, it can also trigger bloating and sluggishness. The better approach is to eat mindfully, focus on whole foods, and stop when satisfied. It's not about restriction, but about balance, fueling your body without overwhelming it. Sugary drinks or too much cream in coffee are another stumbling block. While black coffee, green tea, and water support fasting, sweeteners and heavy cream sneak in calories that pull the body out of fat burning mode. Even just a splash of sugar can activate insulin and interrupt the fast. Think of fasting like running a marathon. Would you trip yourself up on purpose halfway through? Keeping beverages clean and simple ensures you cross the finish line strong. Many forget that fasting is more than food, it's a lifestyle. Sleep and stress play massive roles in whether fat loss happens or not. Poor sleep raises cortisol, the stress hormone, which makes the body hold on to fat, especially around the belly. Stress itself can have the same effect, creating cravings and making fasting feel harder than it is. You might be doing everything right with your fasting windows, but if you're staying up late or constantly stressed, progress slows down. Supporting the process with deep rest and stress management is like giving your body permission to release the fat it's holding onto. The encouraging part is that none of these mistakes mean failure. They're simply detours on the journey. If you've broken a fast with the wrong food or grabbed a snack without thinking, it doesn't erase the progress you've made. Fasting is not about perfection, it's about rhythm. Miss one beat and you just pick it up again. Every new day is a fresh start and the body responds quickly once you get back on track. Instead of focusing on slip-ups, focus on building awareness and small adjustments. The more consistent you are, the more effortless it becomes. Over time, fasting shifts from being a challenge to being second nature. When you understand the mistakes that block visceral fat loss, you gain power over them. You learn that it's not about pushing harder, but about working smarter, choosing the foods and habits that align with your goals. With practice, fasting stops feeling like a struggle and starts feeling like a rhythm your body was designed to follow. Each correction, each reset builds momentum toward lasting fat loss and better health. By the time you begin fasting, the first few days can feel like an adjustment period. Around day 3, your hunger hormones start to rebalance. The constant cravings that once pushed you to snack throughout the day begin to quiet down. Instead of being ruled by the urge to eat every few hours, your body learns how to tap into stored energy. It's as if the volume on your appetite is turned down, giving you more control and less distraction. You realize hunger isn't an emergency, it's simply a signal that your body can now manage with ease. By day 7, something remarkable starts happening beneath the surface. Insulin sensitivity improves, which means your body is no longer struggling to process blood sugar. Instead of energy spikes and crashes, you begin to feel steady and grounded throughout the day. It's like switching from a flickering light bulb to one that glows consistently. The mood swings and sluggishness that once felt normal fade away, replaced by a new rhythm of energy. Fasting becomes less about willpower and more about noticing how natural it feels to have balance. By day 10, changes become visible. Visceral fat, the dangerous fat wrapped around your organs, starts shrinking. Your waistline feels a little looser, your clothes fit differently, and bloating is reduced. This isn't just cosmetic. This shift reflects deep metabolic healing. Your body is no longer storing fat at every opportunity, it's learning to burn it. Imagine it like a locked door finally opening. For years, fat burning may have felt inaccessible, but now your body has switched on the ability to tap into those reserves. The results aren't just on the outside, they're happening where it matters most, inside your cells. By day 14, the transformation feels undeniable. Mental clarity sharpens as if someone has wiped the fog off a windshield, and you can finally see clearly. Thoughts flow more easily. Focus comes naturally, and tasks feel less overwhelming. Sleep becomes deeper and more restorative, leaving you refreshed instead of drained. Digestive discomfort eases, and the heaviness of bloating gives way to a lighter, freer feeling in your body. Your fat-burning engine is fully engaged, and for the first time in a long time, you sense that your body is working with you, not against you. This journey isn't about surviving 2 weeks and then going back to old habits. What unfolds over these 14 days is proof that your body thrives when given the chance to rest, repair, and reset. It's not a temporary challenge, it's a blueprint for living. The rhythm you've discovered doesn't demand suffering, it builds consistency and harmony. You see that fasting isn't punishment, it's alignment. You're not forcing your body into submission, you're guiding it back to its natural state. The deeper realization comes when you recognize the contrast. Before, food may have felt like a constant battle, cravings like chains you couldn't break, and energy something you had to chase. After just 14 days of easy fasting, those chains begin to fall away. You don't starve, you thrive. You don't lose energy, you gain it. You don't fight your body, you work with it. And in that process, you start reclaiming your health from the inside out.